All right, hopefully you guys can see this. This is the underside of my 95 4Runner 4-wheel drive with A.D. I have a long travel kit on there, but keep seeing stuff about how the A.D works and 4-wheel drive not engaging. So I have mine defeated already. So this is the A.D actuator. It's got 2 vacuum lines. Normally there are a couple hard lines that go up to this point right here, and then over here to the passenger side. And the way to defeat this is you have to take the 4 bolts off. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the A.D, the 2 down there. And you pull that off, and there's a shift fork that slides back and forth to engage and disengage. And then what you need to do is move the collar over to the center where it connects, so that the differential and the stub axle or axle, driver's side axle there is connected at all times. And I'll show you guys how that works. All right guys, so this is a spare differential that I have that I did a Spartan locker install on. And this is where the A.D actuator goes. I got this out of a junkyard, so it didn't come with the actuator. But as you can see in here, this is the collar that engages and disengages for the A.D. So when it slides towards the passenger side, it disengages and it goes all the way. And it allows this CV axle to spin on this. So it's the driver side, passenger side, and it allows this CV axle to spin. You can see the gears in there spinning, but it's not causing this one to spin. And this thing's locked up, so when they spin, they both spin. And then what the A.D does is that shift fork I was talking about. Sometimes you gotta spin this around a little bit to get it to line up right. This will spin. So the shift fork pulls this over and engages. So now, that's too far. So now this is locked. So once it's locked, as you can hear in the diff, like I said, this has a Spartan locker in it, so it's locked all the time. If I were to spin the pinion, you would see that both of the CV axles move in the same direction. So that's how the A.D works, and the way to defeat it, like I said, is to make sure this collar doesn't shift. It might actually go like this. So this is disengaged over towards the driver's side, and when it engages, it pushes it to the right, or towards the passenger side to lock it up. So that's how the A.D system works, and the way to defeat it, like I said, is to force this collar to stay locked. And usually you put manual hubs on it, because that simplifies things. And then you can still unlock and lock, so you're not wearing out your diff as much. But that's how you do it. Like I said, I used a bolt on mine. Other people have taken it apart and they'll put a hose clamp so that actuator fork cannot move. And we'll go back under the car. So what I figured out, instead of, normally what people do is once they move the shift fork over to I think it goes over to the left to engage. What I did is, this bolt right here isn't normally here. This is normally like a button head set screw that's just kind of like a inspection port, or so you can put a roll pin through. What I did is, when I forced that shift fork over, I got this bolt, I don't remember the thread or the length, and ran it in, and what it does is it pinches against that shift fork so it can't slide left or right. So effectively it locks it in. And if you can get the shift fork to move left into this position where it needs to be, you can just replace the set screw with this bolt. The bolt has a nut on it to help seal it, and then I just used a bunch of gray RTV to get it to seal up. Other people have had luck with just switching the 2 hoses, the 2 vacuum hoses. Basically the way it works is one vacuum line is normally engaged and it's pulling this open to keep the front differential disconnected. And then when you flip into four-wheel drive, you know, put your shifter into four-wheel drive, it switches which vacuum lines are activated and it forces the shift fork locked in. What happens is the stuff gets kind of gummed up or the system hasn't been used in a while. So some people have luck just switching the two vacuum lines, and that forces a constant vacuum and it'll cause your A.D. to engage. I deleted it, or I guess it's defeated it, because the delete you'd have to change that axle tube out, because it's just simpler that way and you don't have to rely on the vacuum system as much. And I'm not a fan of vacuum systems, so I just wanted to get rid of it. So that's how you do that. And then also you go to these hubs. These are the worn hubs, and they just, so you can unlock and lock in your CV axles. That way you're not causing excess wear. It's supposed to get better gas mileage out of it and less wear on your tires and CV axles and stuff. So that's why I did that. And then if you look right here, there's this connector, and this is for your four-wheel drive light. I think the problem with mine was that the sensors are bad. If the sensors are bad, I don't think the A.D. will engage. There's one on the I believe the passenger side of the transmission on the back at the transfer case actually. I think that one of mine was bad, and I didn't know if my four-wheel drive light was bad, so what I did is I jumped these two wires together on the harness side, not on the sensor side, on this one first, the A.D. one, and it didn't do anything. And then when I jumped the one on the transfer case, the light popped on when they were both jumped. So that tells me that that sensor back there is bad, which could have been my issue. But like I said, I just deleted the whole A.D. system because I wanted to simplify everything. So yeah, there you go.